Yo, what's up? My name's Flashstep from Blight Gaming, and I'm here with some CT stuff. So usually you see me making like T strats or meta strats on the T side, but I think CT doesn't get enough love. People always kind of chalk up CT to individual plays, but I think it shouldn't be that way. I think CS:GO is actually a game where, in previous versions of Counter-Strike, you could actually get away with playing more individual, and not really have these type of like setups, or I wouldn't call them executions, but I call them map control plays. But in CS:GO, it seems like you kind of need to, because it seems like in every single angle, terrorists have an advantage. So the thing I want to talk about is like proper mid control. And what I don't see, like obviously we all know it should be a 1-3-1, right? Now one of the things I don't see is people actually using the right utility and using the spawns that they should. Now most of the time what we do is we have one dedicated towards like middle. That's usually the mid player that comes towards window, right? Unless he has the best spawn, which in that case we usually don't run it, because usually this person's yawn with an op, or we just send somebody else and just kind of like, you know, take the 1 second off the spawn, and it still should be okay. So the utility that I think that should be tossed when you're doing the 1-3-1, your best two spawns, whichever way they want to go, they're jumping down either off window into the ground or coming connector quick, and then they're both trying to hug this wall and get up close, right? Now while that's happening, the other player that's dedicated to tossing this utility like peeks out, makes sure no one's there, and then kind of like tries to go hug the left, mollies back boxes, right? Comes out, peeks it again while these guys are running up. If a terrorist does peek him in this situation, these guys are gonna swing kind of quick and try to get a trade. So it's like a strat of like synergizing between like when these guys should be peeking and when they should be just running up, along with the utility base, right? So you toss that back molly, and then he tosses this flash as well. Now when that, self-explanatory, right? Like that pops right here, you peek it. So ideally the two players that are right here, they come here and they peek. Now one of the things I see a lot of players do, or like I wouldn't say players, I'd say teams, because it's a team mentality, that aren't in like pro and prem, even some prem and pro players, man, they want to like peek this and like take this fight. Will it work if they're like caught in the open? Yeah, but a lot of the time, if you're tossing this molly right here, a good team or player will like call like, oh, they might be aggressing because it's molly. It makes no sense to toss unless you don't want them to get there fast. So like their adjustment is, I'm gonna hide in the cubby, wait for the flash to come out, and wait for them to peek wide. And if you peek wide right there, I'm pretty sure this is an advantageous angle for anybody there that isn't blind. I mean, if you're wide peeking on anybody holding an angle, it's pretty advantageous for them in general. So the best way to do this is wait for that flashbang. You both like, one of you can go like a little bit wider just to make sure he's not like right there. And then one person like hug this and like peek. Don't go that much farther, and then you want to smoke this off. And now while that's happening, you have your person usually with an op. That's what we have, like Jan do this, and he drops down and watches the underpass, right? So you have all middle locked down. And now you hug this wall, and then the best way to smoke this off consistently is just come up under the wall whenever you can see this dot right here, right? Like there's a lot of ways you can do it, but it's like a really weird feely smoke. Like you would think you probably want to toss it over here on the ground, but if you're like running too much, it'll like, there'll be a gap. That one's actually pretty good, but there'll be a gap occasionally, like it's just off-centered. So the best way to do it, it's always gonna land, is come with the wall throughout this dot, and that way it'll be smoked right there, and they can't do anything about it. And at this point, you want two things to happen. Is one of your players, like usually I'll pair it with a flash to make sure you can cross, because if they have some like wonky boost or something, or they spam, just do one flash deep, and then have one of your players come to the box. You have your opper still there, and your rifle backs up. Usually just floats, and then like if someone makes a B call or an A call, he has to go to one of those places, because if the other team does know you're mid-aggressing and they anticipate it, and let's say they have like, or it's just off luck where they have like 4 stacked towards A or 4 stacked towards B when we make this play, and the strat caller is like, oh, they're taking mid control to 1-3-1, take control of A or B now. That player over towards A or B is gonna be taking 1 versus 4 or 1 versus 3 fight a lot of the time. So your guy who's floating that wants to rotate needs to get back to one of those sites as quick as possible wherever there was a sound cue. And this is something else I need to mention about this strat or mentality when you're doing a 1-3-1, is the A or B player should never be aggressive in this situation. If he, for example, if an A player, even under balcony, I'd say is like a bad spot when you're doing a 1-3-1, because your support is way far away. You're going to be taking, if they are rushing into the site, you're taking 1 versus 4, and the only way you're getting out of that situation is by fragging everything, and you can't rely on your aim all the time. It's a team game, there's no point in you trying to do that unless you need to. So, under the balcony, bad idea. Up close, bad idea. The best spots you can play if they're playing a 1-3-1 are going to be like towards triple, and it's when you have full utility, or back just towards CT spawn. And once you spot them coming in, like you molly towards Tetris, you flash towards Tetris, smoke off towards halls if you have like to have a set smoke. That probably doesn't land. Something of that nature. Basically, all the A and B's anger's objective in a 1-3-1 is to stall for time for the rotate to come over. Don't let them take spots that are needed for the retake, like CT spawn, for example, or towards connector. Like try to push them off of that as much as you can. And then the B player, like for sure, should make sure they can't get to market. Like try to push them off of getting to jail if you can. Your cat should be fine of doing a 1-3-1 anyway. So like if you contain them within the site, maybe they take jail. And upper B, a retake even 5 vs 5 is definitely doable as long as they don't get market. So I guess that's really all for this video. Was trying to share like what you should be doing on CT and the 1-3-1 setup for aggressive middle. Thanks for watching.